Okay, so let's start. Okay, Louisa.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hey YouTubers, this is Lonnie Clark, Nuts for Art, and I'm here with Louisa Hamachek, and we're going to go over some maps that she wants to share with you about the Pacific Northwest once again. I know that has been requested, so Lou, you want to tell them what you want to share?
Okay. So what I have here is the map I drew many years ago of Nuclear Northwest, where I accentuate the river systems. Here's the Columbia River coming from Canada down to past Hanford Nuclear Reservation, where they made plutonium for atom bombs. And the Snake River has come in from Idaho and joins at Pasco, just below Hanford, in the town of Pasco and right next to Richland. And below that is in the Tri-Cities areas right here under Hanford, very close to an operating nuclear power plant called the Columbia Generating Station that should be shut down because there's new fault lines been found very close and deep and not so deep. All different kinds of them are here. The 1872 big fault earthquake that shook the whole Northwest was from only 100 miles over this way from Hanford, was its epicenter, and it keeps doing clusters of earthquakes. And so this operating nuclear power plant here, the Columbia Generating Station, or CGS, could have a meltdown and rupture and put radioactive waters that would go into the Columbia River past Portland right here, where the Willamette River comes into the Columbia River is Portland. And then from Portland it goes past the old Trojan nuclear waste dump of the Trojan nuclear power plant that has been dismantled and blown up and dismantled and broken down, but hidden right there, not hidden, is the waste that has evidently gone to dry storage. But what happens if there's a flood? What happens if there's an earthquake? Because from here, just a bit offshore, is going to be the Cascadia Subduction Zone earthquake that's going to make a tsunami slosh the shore within 15 minutes of the earthquake.
Wow.
While people are all getting up from underneath broken down buildings and trying to escape, they can't quite, they better, and start running. So right upriver, to right near there will come the tsunami up the Columbia River to right around Trojan's stored nuclear waste. But then farther up here is the deep 10-mile down earthquake going to reach under the Cascades. They used to say this Cascadia Subduction Zone earthquake, like 5 years ago, would be muffled by this line of mountains known as the Cascades.
How far in are these from here to there? Like how far is the coast to the Cascades?
Maybe about 150 miles, I think.
Okay.
And so, because it's like an hour that way from Eugene to the coast, an hour that way to the top of the mountains. So it's about 60 miles either way. This is the Valley of the Willamette. That's the evergreen, beautiful valley. With Cascadia is all this Pacific Northwest of ferns and cedars and fir trees and stuff. And over this side it's desert and it's sagebrush all the way up to here, all the way up to there. And this is the Okanagan Mountains. Here's the Canadian border. And here comes the Columbia down here, and it does have gold mine pollution up here, and then comes into America.
Do you know, are you learning a lot about the Fukushima, like the nuclear plume that's along the Pacific West coast of this whole, do you know they're finding nuclear radiation all along this entire coast?
Well, let's do that on
from Fukushima?
No, I don't, but I don't know, but I bet so, and I think let's find out.
I'd love to have you do a video about that with your map. And
I will.
I'll
find out about that for one of the next ones. So
thank you.
What I want to show is I've been back to the Ukraine. While all this disturbance is going on about who owns parts of the Ukraine and the USSR and America and all the world is gesturing about who they support, about the insurgents or whatever they're called in the Ukraine of local people, I think, well, the Ukraine, that's where Chernobyl was. So it gets me the book, this one, from the library.
Right, you talked about that last night.
Yeah. It's by Ella Yaroshinskaya, about where she lived near Chernobyl. And she did investigative research about why they were abandoned, these villages and towns, and not warned about the radiation in the days after the nuclear power plant exploded and spewed all this radioactive particles all around the area. They should have been inside and not letting it touch them and get on them and inhaled. And it was a disaster that was not warned to the people. So my point is, let's not trust the people in America around Hanford. Let's look now at the town. So I went to
Okay.
looking here. And I look at, where is Hanford? It's right there.
Okay.
Here's Oregon. Okay, I'm going to pull this back for a minute.
Okay.
And we're going to look at a map of Oregon.
Okay.
Okay, stand back a bit.
Okay.
And you'll see that's Oregon. Here's Oregon again. Oregon has.
Okay.
I'll move it up like this.
Oh, I know you're going to do
These
this.
are
This is
the roads.
fascinating.
This is a highway. Anything with fatness here is a big fat traveling road. This is I-5.
Okay.
This is I-80. And right up here at the top over here, before it goes down the Columbia River to Portland, is Hanford right there. There's
Okay.
Hanford right here. This little red dot right here. And you can
And
see...
Hanford's right here.
No. Here, these are the Wallowa Mountains. And so Hanford's right here. Right under... See, here comes I-80, and you've come from the Midwest. And
Yeah.
you're coming in
Yeah,
to
I've come up
Portland.
that way, yeah.
Yep. And so right here, where it hits the Columbia River, is right above it is Hanford, because the Columbia's come like this and then goes
Okay.
down and joins I-80 right there where it comes in.
Okay.
So we're going to go back to here, and here it is coming in.
Okay.
Here's the Columbia. They put so many dams, it's a big fat lake.
Okay.
But
So
it
we're
used to
at
be a
6
river.
minutes now, Lou. So let's
All right.
move on.
So, okay, here we are.
Okay.
So now what we want to do is, what I
Check
did was...
out what she did. This is
I took-
brilliant.
Okay, I took the book, had this map. This wonderful woman is put in a map of...
It's in here. The map's in here.
Okay.
I know it is. I
Okay,
saw
here's
it.
the book and stuff. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's return to here.
Here, we're all sort of concocted up here. Hold on. That's that.
Okay, now let's look here.
Okay.
Here's Hanford. Here comes the Columbia River from Canada. In past Spokane, comes in here. Then we go around the Hanford Nuclear Reservation, a big
Yeah, we
hump,
did that, yeah.
and we're here. Okay. And then,
So check out this, what she did with this map.
well, doesn't match up to that one,
Well, this is a hand-drawn
But it
map.
match-
That's perfectly great.
but it matches up to this one.
Watch what she did here.
I
This
took
is
the
brilliant.
scale thing. I took this one out. The book on Chernobyl had these maps in here that showed the radiation and how it spread.
Right.
And how a couple of years later it was here in the Ukraine and here. These are the same parts of the world, but here's the Pripyat River. Chernobyl, of course, is where it's the most radioactive, is where
Right.
the village was and where the nuclear power
Right.
plant that exploded. Split. Okay, this is 1991. It happened in 86.
Wow.
This is the radiation of cesium around there, and this is its cesium around here.
Wow.
So this is one country called Byelorusia, or however you say it, Byelorusia or something.
Belarus?
Belarus, I guess, but they spell it Byelorussa. And then over here is Russia. And here's Chernobyl. Right there.
Belarus, yeah. Yeah, well, that's because she calls it, we call it Belarus. She calls it Byelorusia because she's Russian. That's what they call it.
That's right. And she's Ukrainian, and she's
Yeah,
from
there you
Ukraine,
go.
which is this part,
Okay.
below the Pripyat River.
So not to
So-
put pressure on you, but I think we only have about 5 minutes left on the
All
video.
right.
It's telling me 13:40 is the max time.
All right, so look over here on this map.
Okay.
Okay, here we have the exploded nuclear power plant.
Right.
Right down here, 70 miles away only, was Kiev. That's the
Oh, my
distance
God.
between Hanford Nuclear Power Plant operating on a fault line and Pendleton, Oregon. And Pendleton is Oregon's favorite town of cowboys and the world of great people, wonderful stuff, Pendleton. And Hanford's right there. That's the same distance. This affected a lot of people. So I'm matching up this map with America and saying how far could it go? And look at this.
Okay.
Can you
here.
see this? This gray part.
So you're putting it right on top of where
Yeah,
Hanford
check this
would
out.
be.
This is like 4 years later. The gray
Yeah,
part is
okay.
radiation. Tons of it here near the power plant.
So
I'm
here-
lining it up at the same scale that I blew it up at Kinko's.
Okay.
To the same scale here. It says 50 miles and stuff. Look at this. It could go like this, all to Portland. It could go, if I flipped it over and the wind was blowing this way to the northwest, let's say, it would go
By Seattle.
100 miles this way. And if we look at that map, that's like 50 miles. So 100 miles from there would be Spokane right there.
Right.
The city of Spokane is 250,000 people. Look at how this map would do it. Right to there.
Wow.
We'd be getting it going there if the wind was blowing that way.
Wow.
And we flip it like this or like this or like this.
Could it go downward towards us?
Yes, but not very easily because there's the Cascade Mountains that stopped it.
Oh, okay.
So it would be in the Columbia River that we're part of.
So
but it wouldn't
Canada would
affect
be
us much.
super screwed. Probably
Yeah, look at
lots
this
of
map
ways.
now. Now we're going to look at this one, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so here we have Vancouver Island. That shows that the bottom of Vancouver Island is the top of the earthquake.
Yeah.
Okay, and then here's the top of America and the bottom of Canada, this dotted line.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this is the Columbia River coming in, that arc that I showed you in my map.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, let me pull this map out. There's my map showing it clumbing in from Canada, arcing around and around.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an arc.
That's the
Here
real
it comes
one.
around. So this dot right here is where Hanford is.
Oh, wow.
And here's Puget Sound. And here,
Wow.
can you see right here? This is where the earthquake is going to go slush. This is going to be a big tsunami into here. This is going to be something that might translate in a 10-mile down crack right to Hanford here. But then right here we have the Columbia River coming down. At any rate.
So you're telling me, as the crow flies, Hanford's only 10 miles from the coast?
Oh, no. No. Hanford is way inland in the desert, and the mountains are in between. But I'm saying that off the coast, only about 50 miles and in different places, it's going to be this crack that's going to be the subducting of the
Right, I
Pacific
get that.
plate
We
in.
know what that means,
It's going to
yeah.
shove this way, and it's going to make
got
an
it.
earthquake that's going to be 5 minutes
So
long.
what's going to happen is the
9.0.
Hanford's going to have a big, gigantic earthquake. It's going to go
I'm not saying it's true, but I'm saying that this recent
high probability.
and if you look in the in
That's what a
this
subduction zone does.
Seattle Times article of November 1st, 2000.
What are they thinking, keeping a Columbia
November
generating
1st,
station
2000.
open?
November 1st, 2013 was it that she wrote that article on the on these waves, these cracks that
Wow.
are deep down that have
So,
been seen.
Louisa, I hate to break your bubble here, but this says 1 minute and 40
All right.
seconds
Okay, let me
left.
give you the punchline.
Okay.
You want to know where Seattle is? Look at
Yeah.
Puget Sound.
Okay.
And look right here. And in Puget Sound, on the right-hand side of this little stretch in of America's lower parts,
Yeah.
these are the San Juan Islands. Down here's Puget
Yeah,
Sound.
put that on there, yeah.
Let me put this going from Hanford. That
Great
little
idea.
dot, and I'm going to go like that. Okay, so anyways, if it could make it over these here mountains, these are the Cascades. If the wind was blowing that way like it did that weird day when Chernobyl blew and it went towards Europe,
Yeah.
look at it, went that way, it went this way. When you see the map in the book, it went almost to Europe totally. The
Yeah,
wind blew,
I know,
did
I've
blow to
seen it. It
Sweden
did go
and
to
Scotland.
Denmark, like-
went to the British Islands
Right.
to Scotland and ruined
It-
their cattle.
Right, I know.
And they had to kill all the sheep and
They,
bury
well,
them
they
in
still
a toxic
can't sell
waste
their
dump.
sheep.
Yeah, and so that
eat.
could happen to this area, and I want to get the people.
So
to
can you
do-
lay that on top of you?
I don't. I'm
It's
not,
not
sure.
to
This isn't to
scale?
scale, so I'm not sure about that
bummer.
one. Let me see.
There's Hanford right there.
Okay, I'm going to check and see if it's to scale because I know it's 100 miles from there to Spokane. So this thing is showing me the scale is 50 miles, 30 to 50. That would be 20 miles. So 20. Let me go 20.
Oh, you measuring
I
to see
can't
how
figure
far
it
this
out
is. So
yet. I
Spokane.
can't quite do it fast, but
Okay,
But let
that's
me
no
just
big
say that I'll put it on this map where I did do it, and if I go like that, I know
Yeah.
in my mind that Seattle.